The Knicks welcomed the Celtics to the Garden on Saturday afternoon, holding a 2-0 advantage, just like we all predicted. Our legendary post columnist Mike Vaccaro has been along for the whole ride. Mike, before the series started, if I told you the Knicks would be up 2-0 coming back to MSG, you would say what?
I'll have what you're having because I don't think that anybody saw that coming. I mean, I think that best case scenario, for this to even have a shot at happening, they had to split. And so I think that once they got game one, I'm pretty sure that even those who are optimistic about winning game one figured that game two would be a wash, and it was going in that direction. And then it didn't. Then it took the exact same direction as game one. So I don't think anybody saw that coming. And I think that's part of the reason why, and I think you can sense it too, everybody can sense it. I mean, there is a growing buzz around both the series and this team that really we haven't felt around here in a long time. And it's, a big day Saturday at Madison Square Garden when the Knicks are playing is always going to be awesome anyway. But it seems like it's really going to be in a special place tomorrow, and it's because they won both those games in Boston.
Absolutely, going to be very exciting. So the Celtics, they've tried the hack-a-Mitch strategy in the first two games to try and get Mitchell Robinson off the court. Would you say Robinson is one of the most underrated players in the series right now?
Yeah, and look, I mean, that's what Mitch's game is. I mean, he's not going to, ever dominate a game in, a Kareem or a Hakeem or, any kind of sense like that as a big man. But look, he's a defensive stopper. He's a presence. He was plus 19 in 22 minutes the other night, which tells you about his value. Look, I mean, it tells you about how much value he brings to the Knicks. That the reason why the Celtics went to the hack-a-Mitch wasn't just to get him on the line, it was to try and get him out of the game, which is kind of remarkable because that meant that when he came out of the game late, they were going to bring in OG Anunoby, who's their other great defender. So it really kind of, it's a sense here where the Knicks imposed their will on the Celtics as opposed to the other way around, and Mitch was the prime reason why.
Yeah, absolutely. You touched on this a little bit ago, but what kind of environment do you expect in and around MSG on Saturday afternoon?
Yeah, it's going to be electric. Look, I mean, and it doesn't guarantee anything. We've seen the Knicks lose enough games at the Garden to know that there's no guarantees. The Rangers, the same thing. But look, I mean, it's certainly better to play in front of 19,000 people who really, would give an arm for you to win that game as opposed to the other way around, which is what they were able to successfully negotiate in both Detroit and Boston for 5 games. But it's going to be loud. It's going to be rambunctious. It's a Saturday afternoon game, so there'll probably be plenty of pre-gaming beforehand. So I think the fans will be ready, and it's going to be interesting. I mean, look, the Celtics, didn't just show up. I mean, they're also a very good road team, and they're the defending champs. So I don't think they'll necessarily be intimidated, but you want to make things as difficult as possible for them. And I think the loud, boisterous, engaged Garden certainly will be something that the Knicks can throw at the Celtics and hope that kind of pushes them toward the finish line.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, the Knicks, they've struggled a bit at home in these playoffs, while the Celtics they've thrived on the road. So how can the Knicks try and replicate that road success at the Garden for these next 2 games?
Yeah, and that's the thing is that they really haven't even played a great game yet in the series. They've gotten 2 wins on the road without playing great. I think if they could just play the kind of game we saw them play most of the time this year, look, they won 51 games. They were successful far more often than not. And a lot of those games were really, easy on the eye, and they played very well. The Knicks haven't really played a game like that yet. Maybe they have one due. Maybe that's never going to happen. But that I think is what is the most important thing. Play well. Don't get into a big hole like you got the first 2 games. I mean, you're asking a lot to try and do that 3 games in a row, and just play well. And I think that's even more important than where the game is played is how you play it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a big one on Saturday. Lots of fun, lots of excitement. Mike, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Anytime, EmmaKate. Thank you. Good talking to you. Have a good weekend.